right, guys, so today we have a little bit of decor that's going to become part of our centerpieces. These are real dried branches, and I have a second bundle of these in a box off to my side here in case I need them. So what I'm going to do is I have my hot glue gun and I've already warmed it up. You can see I've already got some drips here. It's ready to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these branches and I'm going to hot glue little crystals to them, like these. Hold on. Like these little crystals. And hold on, hopefully this is in focus. Oh, there we go. Little itty bitty acrylic crystals. And I'm going to hot glue them to these branches to make it look like frost, like ice all along them. My goal is to get like 3 or 4 of these per table. So I'm going to see what my numbers look like, and I will let you know. But in the meantime, this is going to be very similar to the other video with the flowers. Just enjoy some sped up footage of me putting this together.
So I started out trying to get these branches untangled. You know how they're bound together with that little piece of twine. I was actually very surprised to find that they also, if you can see there, had a very thin little piece of wire tying the branches together. It really freaked me out a little bit too, because they the wire was like rusty, so it was very off-putting to try to unwind that with my fingers. Anyway, you can see here that I started down at the base of the branch and moved my way up. I only did that for the first branch, and then I decided that it was not the easiest way to do it. So I switched tactics to, and you'll see this in a second, after this branch, I switched tactics to be going from the tip down to the base of the branch, because this gave me a little bit better control over the movement of the branch. It wasn't like shaking or moving in my hand as much as it was when I was starting at the base. But it also gave me a bit more of a sense of what the branch would look like overall, so that it wasn't as on one side as you can see the first branch is. It's a little bit more varied and it looks a little bit more natural, and I liked that. So you can see here I was actually explaining what they were looking like and my plan for making them, but I managed to cut out the audio accidentally, so whatever. All I was saying in that little gap where I was talking was that the whole plan is to make these look like they're frosted with ice, and since I'm gonna have these really nice wine bottles with twinkly lights in them, and I'm gonna have little candles as well, it's gonna have kind of a nice flickery light in the venue, and I wanted the little crystals on the branches to pick up that light and sparkle just that little bit. It was really easy to put them on the branches. The hot glue system, I mean, I've used hot glue in projects over and over in my life. The only problems I was really having, and you can see me do this at some points in the video, trying to get the glue off my hands, where I'll twist my hands together or wring my hands like I'm washing them. So that's just pretty normal. When you get hot glue on your hands, it burns for a second, not significantly, and then it sticks on your hands, so you have to peel it off. And that was the only problem I was having, really. It was pretty easy to put them on the branches because you didn't need to hold them in place. That's one of the reasons I like hot glue. The other thing, and it's not on this branch so far, but it's on a lot of the branches throughout the process. If you see, there are a couple of places where I clustered a handful of little crystals all together in one place. And if you see a really big one that looks like an ice cube or like a knot, those I put in place specifically to stabilize the branches. So they're natural branches, they're actual real willow branches. So some of them came with little weak spots in the branch, maybe a crack or something. And I used this process of glitterizing, blinging out these branches to sort of stabilize them as well by using the glue and the structure of the crystals to hold the branch together, like a little splint or something. I thought that was pretty clever, and it actually wound up looking pretty nice. I know that the framing in this video is a little weird and angled, not the best. There are times when you can't really see what I'm doing, but I am working on the whole camera angles thing. Right now, my ring light that has the holder attached isn't working, so that's part of the reason why I've been having trouble with the framing lately. You can see here that I've actually transitioned to the next morning because I was working for almost the whole day, pretty much the whole day, on getting these branches done, and I had to go to bed. So at that point I switched onto, so this is the next morning, and you can see here as well that there's sunlight on my desk, so I was trying to see how the sunlight glinted on the branches. I know you can't see that every time, so I'm working like right off the bottom corner there, you can see. But every once in a while I did catch the light on the branches, and it glinted and glittered really prettily. I don't know if there is a space where you can see that glittery light, but if there is, then that would be great. You also can see at the top that I'm putting branches right under the camera. I had the tripod set up on a stack of books, and that's why they're building up right at the bottom there. I mean, it wound up being kind of a funny little way to do it. One of the things that I did was I intentionally did not film the entire process of hot gluing these branches, because it would be hours and hours and hours, and that's way too much to film of literally the same thing of me just hot gluing these branches. So that's why I only wound up filming about an hour at the beginning and about an hour at the end of the process, so you could get kind of a feel for how it was going, but that I wouldn't be filming way too much. couple of branches coming up here, I would find a branch that had too many branching pieces of wood coming off of it, and I would snap it off. You can see that I did that. I snapped off the one branch. And I did this for a couple of reasons. One, the branch that I snapped off would make a cute little mini branch on its own a lot of the time. And two, and this is the much more important reason, I had like a specific look that I was going for with each of these. You'll notice I very rarely allow more than one branch off. And when they had like 3 branching off pieces, it looked too crowded for what I was going for and for the look that I want on my tables. One of the things you hear a lot about in wedding planning and in wedding planning advice these days is DIY as much as you can to save money. And it's a great idea, but I will say be careful about what you take on, because this process did take me a full day and then at least an hour or two the next day. So if you don't want to be hot gluing for that amount of time, or if you have problems that will prevent you from being able to do the same repetitive task over and over for hours like that, then you probably wouldn't want to DIY something like this. That is a decor piece that admittedly I did save money on, and I enjoy DIYing pieces like this. But you can see that this is not the kind of thing that everyone can do. And a lot of the times you can find things like this to buy if you want to, instead of DIY them. I'm just trying to say, take caution when taking on DIYs for weddings, just because of the sheer number of them that you're going to have to do. Another thing that I've learned is to be careful when ordering supplies for DIYs like this, because I got bulk orders on both of the package of willow branches and on the little crystals. I got bulk packages of both, and the only problem with that is that I have way more left over than I ever would have needed to use, and I just didn't guess the amount of materials I would need effectively. So I have double the amount of branches that I used left over. I have that entire bag of crystals left over that I haven't even opened because they sent me 2. So just be careful with the process of planning a DIY. Try to make sure that you measure or try to mock up the approximate amount of supplies you would need a little bit more in advance than you necessarily than I did for this process, at least. Coming up just now, you can see I switched the paper on my desk. And this is something that I always do when I use a hot glue gun, is I always have a piece of paper or a Post-it or something to put underneath the hot glue gun's tip every single time I do it. Now, you can't do this if you're going to walk away from the hot glue because it is a fire hazard. But the reason that I do it is because if I have my hot glue gun on the desk like that and I need to focus on the project for a second or fix something or reassess something or even look something up on my phone, the tip of a hot glue gun is hot enough and the glue is malleable enough that I don't know if anybody out there has never used a hot glue gun, but if you haven't, the tip of hot glue guns will drip hot glue onto whatever surface. It takes a very long time for a drip to come out, so it's not something that I would ever worry about, but it has happened with every hot glue gun I've ever used. And I just want to use this paper every time because it helps by catching the little drips that come off and catching a lot of those little angel hair strings that hot glue guns tend to leave trails of.
Okay, so you guys have seen me put together a whole bunch of these. These are the ones that are going to be extras for like the gift table or the favor table. I wanted to make a handful of extra in addition to the little bunches that I have off to the side that are going to be designated for each table. If you've gotten to this point in the video and you're still with me, first of all, thank you. I know that this has been kind of a bit of a boring process to just watch me hot glue stuff. I made a point of not hot gluing the entire process because I have a whole ton of these. So I only really filmed at the beginning and then I filmed at the end. But if you've gotten to this point in the video and you're still with me, let me know what you think of the amount of crystals that I've put on each branch, because I saw one inspo picture where the whole branch was like this, where it was very tightly glued onto the entire thing so you couldn't see the branch in between. But I actually kind of like it this way. I think it looks a little bit more of that whimsical feel that I was going for. It's a little bit of glam, but not overly glam. Let me know what you think. Please hit us a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you want to see the rest of my wedding decor, especially in oh goodness, it's gonna be like 8 days now. I'm really excited. So in about 8 days, when I put it all together at the venue, I'm gonna do another little bit of filming to show you how it all comes together. So if you want to see that video, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye!